What's up guys, it's Jaelen here with the IG360 and welcome to the rundown for the week of August 30th, 2012. And I just so happen to be wearing the same shirt that I was wearing in last week's rundown. This week's rundown is fairly short. I really only have one main thing to talk about, and that is that next week Amazon is having their events for the next generation Kindles. I don't think they have an official name for it, but it's in Los Angeles, and they're going to be rolling out their next gen Kindles. Should be interesting to see what we get this time around. And last year they had just introduced the Kindle Fire, so it would make sense that this year they are going to be releasing their Kindle Fire 2. Now we really haven't heard anything about the next gen Fire, so who knows what's going to be inside of this thing or what it's going to look like or any new features or anything like that, but I would hope that Amazon has something that's really going to combat the Nexus 7 and probably more importantly Apple's coming iPad mini, because everybody knows that Apple's going to come out with something, and when they do roll it out, everybody knows that it's going to start killing off pretty much all the other 7-inch tablets that are out there. So they want to get themselves something. Well, I would hope that Amazon's going to roll out something that's basically going to push themselves ahead maybe a little farther before Apple comes out with their thing, because they want as much headway as possible, as much leeway as possible to separate themselves from Apple, because once they come out, it's just going to be ridiculous. And this story comes straight from TechCrunch. This is really just something I found interesting actually just today. Virgin Airlines is actually offering a free, well, sort of free depending on how you look at it, free trip to space, actually, a flight into space, a galactic flight, to the Virgin member who has the most air miles with them. So if you have the most air miles with Virgin by a certain date, I don't remember the date exactly, you win a free trip, a free intergalactic trip, courtesy of Virgin Airlines. You would actually hop onto one of their Virgin flights and it would take you up to like a certain altitude. I think it's like 50,000 feet or something ridiculous, like pretty close to the atmosphere. And then they have a actual, I guess, like shuttle or something that detaches itself and then takes you out into space, and that is just awesome. But I guess Virgin is doing that instead of a shuttle launch from the ground up, because it is easier and probably less expensive to just fly you to a certain altitude and then take off from there, like while being in air. And I think that's a lot cooler than taking off from the ground. I mean, both are obviously really cool, but I think that the way that Virgin's doing it through basically a flight itself is even cooler. And I believe the second place with the most miles gets to go up to like the highest points right before the atmosphere and right before you take off into space. And actually I found something that was really interesting. It actually only, well, I say only, but I thought this would be much more, $100,000 to fly in space. So that's going to do it for this week's rundown, guys. I know it was short and the last story wasn't exactly, well, it was tech related, but follow us on Twitter at IG360. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.